More Ben Johnson rumors are starting to circulate, some reports as well when it comes to the Chicago Bears. My name is Harrison Graham. Thanks for tuning in to Bears Now by Chat Sports. Be sure to hit that subscribe button here on the channel, bringing you guys videos every single day. I've been a little under the weather, so hitting you guys with the video from home here on a Saturday. Appreciate you guys for locking in. We crossed 111,000 subs recently. Round of applause. Thank you so much. Next milestone is 112. Sub for daily vids. We got you covered. Okay. Ben Johnson, let's get you caught up on the latest here, as obviously we are full steam ahead on who the next head coach is going to be. Obviously, there's still some football games left here. Monday Night Football, little Bears Vikings action. Certainly going to continue to cover the in-season stuff as well, but let's face it, the coaching search is the top storyline here. And there's a few stories out there when it comes to Ben Johnson and the Chicago Bears. Number one, Bill Belichick indirectly weighing in. And I have some thoughts here on Belichick as a whole, as he is now the head coach at North Carolina. But ESPN Seth Wickersham, who's covered the Patriots and Belichick for a long time, wrote a full piece after Belichick took the UNC job and revealed in there that Belichick's group, his inner circle, probably Josh McDaniels, Matt Patricia, Mike Lombardi, those people, and probably a few others, is determined that the Bears was the best open job. They felt like it was going to be the best open job, but that the Bears weren't going to be interested. My thoughts on that in a second. But they also added that they believe that the Bears will target Ben Johnson, that they will go offense and they will go after the Lions offensive coordinator, who is obviously garnering a lot of steam, a lot of attention in this cycle. There's been a lot of buzz around Ben Johnson and the Bears, obviously, for a while, really dating back to last offseason, which Albert Breer mentioned a month or two ago, that many believe that had the Bears job open last year, that would have been a job that Ben Johnson would have been willing to leave Detroit for. Now, we'll see what happens this time, if he's the Bears' top guy, if they're his top option. Obviously, he's been pretty selective in terms of taking a head coaching job, which he has not as of yet. But nonetheless, Belichick and his camp believe that Ben Johnson will be someone that the Bears target. Now, as for the thought on Belichick, I'm not saying I wanted Bill Belichick to be the Chicago Bears head coach. What I am saying is, doesn't it feel a little cocky and a bit ignorant on the Bears, from the Bears standpoint, to not even interview him? Now, maybe they had some quiet, informal conversations, who knows? But I think the fact that Bill Belichick took a college job where he's never coached at the collegiate level in his 50-year coaching career in early mid-December, it tells you that the NFL as a whole wasn't that interested. So I'm not saying this is a Bears-centric problem. What I am saying is, if you're the Chicago Bears and you have not gotten a coaching hire right since you fired Lovie Smith, you're not even willing to talk to Bill Belichick. Now, maybe they called and he didn't answer, who knows? But if it's true that he thought this was the best open job, why not at least entertain an interview of the guy? You could have interviewed him right now, because you don't have to wait till the end of the season for him. He was a free agent. He's ready to go. So that feels like a missed opportunity. I'm not going to call it the end of the world. I'm not going to overreact to it. But the Bears better get this right, is all I'm saying, because they have not earned our trust as fans, the media, the NFL as a whole. Like, if you polled executives and coaches around the league, I bet about 10% of them would believe that the Bears get this right. So we're hopeful, we're optimistic, but to not talk to Belichick feels like a bit of a missed opportunity. All right, a couple other reports when it comes to Ben Johnson in Chicago. But first, I do want to tell you about today's sponsor. That is Prize Picks. Appreciate Prize Picks for sponsoring today's show. Daily fantasy made easy. Get signed up today at prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS to get a $50 bonus when you play initially for just $5. New customers, just set a $5 lineup. Doesn't matter if you win or lose. You're going to get a $50 bonus. What does a lineup look like, Harrison? Well, it's very simple. You pick two or more players, regardless of sport, as long as it's at least 2 players on 2 different teams, and you pick more or less based on different stats that are available: points, rebounds, assists in basketball, yards, passing, rushing, receiving in football, touchdowns, fantasy score, hockey goals, all types of stats available. And you can win up to 200x your entry on certain lineups right now. It's that good of an opportunity. You can turn $10 into $2,000. PrizePicks.com/CLNS. Use the code CLNS for the $50 bonus when you play for just $5. Doesn't matter if you win or lose that first entry. We appreciate you guys for getting signed up. Link is in the comments and in the description. Check out Prize Picks today. All right, another report. Excuse me. Told you guys I was under the weather. ESPN's Dan Graziano saying this, quote, "I expect the Bears to take a run at Ben Johnson, and it's possible that they get him." Well, it's not the strongest, like, oh, if they go after him, they're going to get him report, but I think he's kind of mentioning what others have, is that there is some mutual interest here. This isn't just some Bears pipe dream. If the Bears want Ben Johnson, they have a chance to get him. Now, I think there's a lot of factors in play that we'll get to, including Ryan Poles' status, financial commitments, all kinds of stuff, the structure of the organization. But if you're Ben Johnson and you're trying to wait for the perfect opportunity, well, number one, there's not going to be a perfect opportunity, but the opportunity to coach Caleb Williams, a cap-friendly situation, which the Bears are, draft capital, 3 picks in the top, probably 50 coming up. The Bears are pretty appealing from that standpoint. Sure, ownership's wonky. You got the Kevin Warren, Ryan Poles dynamic, which we'll talk about in a minute. But compared to what? The Jags, where if Trevor Lawrence doesn't pan out, you're kind of screwed. I think Chicago is something I would take my chance on if I was Ben Johnson or any other coach. At least if it's one or the other. Okay, DaBearsBlog, our good friend Jeff Hughes. He also added this in his Friday column. Quote, "Johnson's people have made it clear to the Bears that he's interested." He also added that the Bears would be willing to wait out a potential long playoff run, because remember, with the new rules, you can't talk to them until, I think, conference championship round, so you'd have to wait a while if Detroit's winning. Quote, "if he's unequivocally the guy." So, if they do a lot of research that they like, they interview some other candidates, and they're like, yeah, we think Ben Johnson's our guy, they would wait that out. They would be patient in that regard, which they should be. They should not hire Ben Johnson because the Lions are going deep in the playoffs. Hello, if they're going deep in the playoffs, they should be more inclined to be interested in Ben Johnson, because that means he's helping them win. Now, obviously, the risk is if you're interested in a couple of other guys, a Mike Vrabel, a Joe Brady, whoever. Joe Brady could be coaching late into the playoffs as well as the Bills OC, so we'd have to wait and see there. You could potentially miss out on guys, so there is a risk. But if you talk to these other guys and you're like, we don't think he's Ben Johnson, then, yeah, you obviously would have to be willing to wait that out if you were the Chicago Bears. Now, a couple other things. First things first. The Bears must decide Ryan Poles' fate. Is he the GM or not? And if he is he running the show? Or is it kind of this murky, muddy water situation that appears to be going on right now, where we all read Dan Wiederer's report. I did a full video on Friday. Go check it out. Where, Ryan Poles' bad decisions are kind of getting exemplified right now. Poles apparently was the key decision maker in hiring Matt Eberflus in 2022 and bringing him back. He was in lockstep with Eberflus to pick Shane Waldron. He kind of went rogue in signing Nate Davis, even though other people inside Hallis Hall were aware that he was not a big football person. He didn't like to practice, all this stuff. So, is he in charge, or is he kind of a GM that can get persuaded by Kevin Warren? Like, what's the situation? I think Ben Johnson is going to want questions that answers to those questions, just like any other head coach candidate. And if he's uncomfortable, he may want a different GM in place. And if he does, are you willing to can Ryan Poles and bring in his guy? I think that's something that would have to be discussed. Number two, if I can get to it here. For me at this point, when it comes to this coaching search, Ben Johnson's my number one. Mike Vrabel's my number two. then it's a big drop off. I think I'm at this point, and I might change my mind, but as of now, December 14th, I would take the swing on Ben Johnson. Vrabel's probably safer. It's probably a higher floor play. But in this division with LaFleur and Campbell and O'Connell, I think taking the swing at Ben Johnson is worth the risk. You've got this talented young quarterback that you need someone to groom him. Would Mike Vrabel bring instant stability and credibility? Absolutely. Would the floor of this franchise be raised? Yes. But could that ceiling be capped with being more of an old school defensive guy? Potentially. Doesn't mean it would for sure. He could nail the OC hire and it could be awesome. But if the OC is awesome, that guy's eventually going to get a head coaching job. I'm not saying that's a reason not to do it. I'm just saying if you feel strongly about Ben Johnson in the interview process, to me, that is the way I would go. I think it is worth the risk at this point in time to take a swing at Ben Johnson because a lot of teams are interested. It's not like you're on an island here. We read in that Weeder report. Other than Jacksonville, Matt Eberflus wasn't exactly a hot name in 2022. The Colts were probably going to fire him, which that's a whole different story. But yeah, this Ben Johnson is highly regarded and has been for a couple of years now. So that's kind of where I stand. I would take the swing here. Sounds like there could be mutual interest. We'll see what the intricacies of a deal could look like. But hey, go get this guy if you can get him, and let's see what happens. All right, predict it for us as my voice is not working anymore. Who will be the next Bears head coach? Let us know in the comments. Hopefully my voice can figure this thing out sooner rather than later. My name is Harrison Graham. We'll see you guys soon here on Chicago Bears Now.